We are live. Oh, do I have my? Oh, yeah. Welcome back to the James McGee Show. I am your host. I am James McGee, and we have Tommy Wells is back with us. Andrew Pappas from One More, and I'm out of here. And Candace, can we say your last name? I don't know if we've ever actually said your last name. We're just going to you're just going to be Candace.
I like my stage name.
Okay, that's good.
I'm
But
like
that
Prince.
is actually your real name. That's not your.
Candace is actually my real name.
Okay. Well, that's
Candace,
good.
Candace is enough. Candace is enough.
Candace is enough, right?
You know what?
Well, Candace's handle on TikTok is Candace is right.
See, there you go. Because I am. Like, that's all anybody needs
in more,
to know
in more
about.
ways than one, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So tonight's show is going to we're going to focus on this. Of course, we're going to take it some other places, but tonight we're going to focus on these old decrepit motherfuckers that are still in office, should not be there. It's we did a lot of research on this, and it's just astounding of how long some of these people have been in public office. And we wonder why we have a government shutdown going on right now. We wonder why we don't get anything done. It's because we have people that shouldn't be there. And I'm not, age discriminating, but I can say this. Even at 55 years old, I'm not what I was at 35. I'm not what I was at 45. I can imagine when I'm 75 or 80, I should not be there making these kind of decisions. Pappas, how old were you when you were in office?
Fuck, I don't remember. Shit, how long ago was it?
Well, that's why you should be in office now, because your fucking memory's gone.
How old was that?
You're 60 now.
Yeah.
Just carry the one.
Shut up. I think how long?
He's like,
I went from 48 to what was it, 8 years? So to 54 to 54.
so like 40 years ago.
That's kind of, to me, it's kind of a prime. Now, I think there's also, you could be too young because you haven't done, you got people in office right now. And look at this clown they're about to elect as mayor of New York.
That boy ain't done shit.
He hasn't done anything. So you got to look at that balance. And I do think that probably mid 30s, late 30s to probably around 60 is probably prime.
Mm-hmm.
And look, there are exceptions. I think that
Whoa.
Oh,
okay.
no.
What was the cutoff date? What did you say? Was just a second? What did you say about 60?
I said mid 60s, late 30s to mid 60s.
Oh, I thought you said 60. Okay, that's fine.
Well,
mid 60s. I mean,
so you're pretty much done, Pappas.
That's fucked up.
I don't think we should have 92-year-old men or women making decisions about this country. And you'll see some of the videos that I have. And this, I wish some of it was AI, but it's not AI. This is fucking reality. I think that, and here, to be fair, we're all Republicans. I do have some biases, but I don't have biases when it comes to this at all. We're going to pick on the Republicans just like we do the Democrats, because you got Republicans like Mitch McConnell, and that'll be the first video that I show. You got Republicans like Mitch McConnell, who seriously should probably be in an old folks home.
I'd agree with that. I think that, well, let me put it this way. There are exceptions to every rule, so I don't want to make a hard and fast rule. Like for today I got a phone call from my 99-year-old World War II veteran that wanted to know if I needed anything because he heard about some of the stuff my family's going through. And I was like, Frank, you're 9 years old. What are you going to go do? You're going to go cough up a hairball for me? And he's like, just letting you know, brother, if you need anything, you want to talk about mentally sharp, he's right there. But I will agree with you. I think that human beings, actually, to be honest with you, and this probably changes as you get older, and I personally think that you hit your prime somewhere after 50. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking mentally. I don't mean physically. Yep. I can't do shit anymore, but you have the ability to logically think and look at situations and critically think in ways you did not possess at a younger age, male or female. And
Yep.
I think that from 50 all the way up to, honestly, I think 50 to 75, 77, 80 years old, I think you're mentally there. But I will say, when you're to the point where they're walking around with a drool cup for you and holding it for you, and you got a shit bag hanging out your ass, and you can't walk. Mitch McConnell, I mean, you're exactly right. You're going to show the video.
Yeah.
And I'm from the tri-state area. Kentucky's right there. Buddy, it's time for you to go. And I don't understand, and Candace, I don't know how it is in Pennsylvania. I look at politics and I look at Republicans as a team.
Mm-hmm.
And the way a good team functions is you got your best players, but you're always recruiting and bringing up new players, okay? And politics is full of narcissists. There's nothing in it but a bunch of narcissists.
That was where I was going.
100%.
They love themselves. They're in love with themselves.
Yep. They think nobody else can do it but them. Nobody can do it better than them, Pappas.
And that's on both sides of the aisle. And until
100% on both sides of the aisle.
Until we get to where we have the team mentality, okay, and we say, you know what? I don't care about me anymore. This is about the team because the team can do the best job. This shit ain't going to change. Power of the incumbency is too strong. It ain't going to change. I mean, Mitch McConnell should have said a long time ago, and for that matter, Nancy Pelosi, any of them, and all the people you had on the list. You know what? I've had a good life. I've served my country. I've done my work in public all off. I've got enough money, except for a couple of those people on the list. I'm going to go live my life. I mean, what's wrong with living your life? I tell you what, I'm happier now than I ever, and I didn't have a high office, very low office, but I'm happier now than I was in office. And someone says, oh, we want you to do this. Fuck off. I ain't doing this shit. I ain't doing it. It's not worth it. I want to have a life. I guess these people have no lives, and they're so in love with themselves and seeing themselves on the big screen. It's going to take the Grim Reaper to take them away. And then, even then, and then what happens? We put their wives in office.
Mm-hmm.
That's someone exactly drops dead, we put their wife in office. And then, oh no, well, he's got this, we put their son in office. Oh, he's got the sperm went strong with that one. So we're going to put his son in there. I mean, give me a break.
But it's such a lonely world, in my opinion, first of all, politics is a dirty, dirty game. Besides what we do here, that's where it ends for me, because it is such a dirty, dirty game. But I think what all of this really shows is when we break down these lists and we look at these people, they do not have one person in their life that actually loves them enough to say, hey, maybe you should probably not fucking do this anymore. Joe Biden is a perfect example. There was not one person in his life that said, Joey boy, how about we kind of just stop doing public appearances or, maybe take some time off. You know what I mean? There's nobody in their lives that actually gives them critical, thought processes of this isn't a good idea. Andrew Cuomo, who the fuck is in his life? Now I know he's not old, but who is telling him, dude, you probably don't have the best track record to run, right? This is not a good idea. Hi, 2020, not a good idea. But it's just power hungry, narcissistic people that do not have anybody that is genuine enough in their own lives to say, look, you should not be doing this anymore. And they're so full of their own needs of wanting to be worshipped that even if they did, they probably wouldn't listen to them. And here we are. And this is why we have these decrepit, tenured politicians with walkers and falling off bicycles and taking an hour and a half to hit the floor. It's I don't get it. But it'll never end. You'll never end because you're right. It is such a generational nonsense, and it's they thrive off of it. It's all about power. It's all about money, and it's all about their own view of their own selves.
So you have a really good point. And my mom, who is just a normal person, not involved in politics. Now, she watches Fox News all day long. But during the presidential election...
Did she take Tylenol, James?
There's a very good chance. Yeah, no one me. Yeah,
there's a good throw that out there,
But she said during the election... She told me, she said, I blame Jill Biden.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no
said-
question.
Because why? She had a good point, because she's that generation. She's that type of wife. She said, what wife is going to let her husband make a fool of himself? I said, Mom,
She hates that man. She hates that man.
because she was the president. She was running the Oval Office.
She was
Mhm.
addicted to it. She was
That's
addicted to it.
All right, let's watch this kumquat.
Oh, I love it.
No, not a C. That's here. Which one do I have up? Let's see.
You got Mitch McConnell falling down.
Wait,
That's
when,
the, yep.
There's a plethora of those.
Taking working people off the streets and kidnapping
Look at
them.
it, hour and a half. Time lapse, an hour and a half.
Wow.
and he's wearing tennis shoes.
Well, watch the look. Watch the look right here. Watch.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're fine. Yeah.
I mean,
First of all, look at him walk. This is a frail, old ass man, and we're like, please make decisions for us.
it is the worst part, and you'll see when we, there's definitely a Nancy Pelosi video.
Oh,
You'll see when the
with
fact
green
that
Joker suit.
somebody is having to hold their hand when there should be the rule. As a general rule, I think there should be some age limits, and I'll talk about that when we dive into it more. But I do think that as a general rule, when your staff or your security has to hold your hand walking down the hall, that's probably a requirement to fucking retire.
Well, that should be like your first thought, like, oh, actually, I really have a hard time walking, so maybe I should just stay the fuck home. I just.
Where's the self-pride?
The call is coming from inside the house, everybody. I mean, I don't know. How do you tell somebody, hey, you're old as shit and it's time for you to kind of park it. You're done.
And Tom, you and I being former police administrators, I'm sure that I know I had to. I'm sure that you had to have some talks with some guys. Being a patrolman is a young man's game. I'm sure that you had to have some talks with some guys and say, hey, man, it's time. We got to get you off the road. It's a hard conversation. There's some pride involved, but it's not about you. When you're starting to fall down, you're starting to be a liability. Where's your fucking self-pride?
Right. No, I couldn't agree more. I think one of the issues I agree with all of you have said, to put it in my opinion, is it's a lack of moral turpitude. It's these people who got into it perhaps for the right reasons, and maybe when they were younger, they first got elected, and they had these idealistic sense that they would make a difference, and then they got drunk with the power, drunk with the money, drunk with all the other things that come with the trappings of being a congressperson or a senator, and they just can't let it go because the materialistic side of that is so much more important than doing the right thing for the people, which is what you're supposed to be doing in representing them. And to me, maybe we could come up with something like with the military where you serve for a particular amount of time and then you retire. You have a good retirement and you ride off in the sunset. And it's unconscionable that these folks, like that video you just showed, that's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to have Mitch McConnell fall down. I mean, anybody can fall, right? But I mean, to have him get up and stand there, look at the camera with that little wave, like, it's time for me to go back and get my Jell-O now. I mean, I don't see a difference between him and Biden right there. You know what I mean? They both need to be out.
So I'll tell you a law that we have here now. They're trying to change it, of course, because there's no position more power hungry than a judge. We talk about kings and we talk about people with king complex. There's nobody who has more of a god or king complex than a judge, especially these federal judges who are appointed for life and don't have to go through elections. So we have a law in Louisiana that you cannot run. Now, you can stay in office, but you cannot run for judge. And our judge is 6-year term, and our Court of Appeals and Supreme Court here is a 10-year term. You cannot run for judge past your 70th birthday. So the oldest you would be, Pappas, is 76 or 80. So I think that's a good rule. Now I'm trying to change it to 75. Which
we have the same rule in Ohio.
I think it should be like. I think that should be in every office, every single office. It should be a federal law that you cannot run for office past the age of 70.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, the only thing that would have made that clip of McConnell better is when he walked off and he had a giant shit stain down his back of his pants.
Shit
Yeah.
on itself. But
Yeah.
wait, what about when he got up? Candace, how goofy was this?
Oh, I know. Like
Well,
it's like he's trying to reassure us as if like,
Yeah.
oh, is he not old? Like, bro, you're old. Like you that wasn't good. You know what I
He
mean?
was-
Like
He
he's
was
just
our leader, the Senate Majority Leader, up until a year ago. What the fuck?
exactly. And they're trying to portray these people as cognitively with it and just, they're so strong and they're so tough and they've got your back, America. And it's like they can't even walk on a flat wood, nicely polished floor. And that's got to be a little concerning for the American people. These are the people that are still in office trying to be your voice. It's a problem. Now, on the flip side of this, when we talk about somebody like Mamdani, I have a problem with that too, because number one, he has no experience whatsoever. But there's also part of me, and I know that this is taboo, but I feel like anybody running for office like that, they should have to have children. Because how the fuck are you going to be able to tell me how to run a household when you have no idea how to run a household?
He's psychotic. I mean, I truly believe that this guy is not psychotic. I'm sorry, he's a psychopath. I truly believe that he cannot wait to get elected so he can unleash his hell onto New York City. I mean, you can see it in his face at these different events that he does. It's just like his eyes are just seething with it, and it's scary.
I don't give two fucks. I hope they elect him. I hope the whole New
Same
York.
here.
I hope New
Truthfully,
York-
same here.
I'm
They
saying
need
what?
to see it.
Not my problem.
Right?
They need
Not
to
my
see it.
circus. Not my fucking monkeys.
Well,
But it's
of
the
all
same thing with
people,
AOC. AOC, again, another like classless, unintelligent, childless cat lady. And that's what I see. A lot of these like teeny bopper politicians, they're just like, yes, tax the rich. So cool. What does that even mean to you? Number one. And number two, do you even know what it takes to run a household, a family? Do you know what it takes to sacrifice your own self for somebody else, like a husband or children? They don't. So how the hell are they able to make decisions for the good of the entire country? It's an impossibility, truly.
It's kind of like and I'm probably going to go to hell for saying this, but it's kind of like a Catholic priest counseling you in marriage, being a marriage counselor.
Yes. That's why I was like, I'm done with
I mean-
Catholicism. We're gonna go to Orthodoxy. My priest can have 1,500 kids with his wife. He don't
Yeah.
need to touch little boys. We're all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, hey, Candace is exactly right on that one. I mean, we're not here to talk about religion, but I was always puzzled by that.
Doesn't make
whatever, but
sense.
makes no sense. But whatever.
And
Yeah.
these are the people that are standing in front of you saying, yes, I know what the American people want. Really? Do you know what a typical American family wants? What
You
they
don't.
need? What is at
don't.
the top of their list? What is a sacrifice for them? They don't. And so when they come in front of these cameras and they have these, press conferences, to me they sound incredibly tone deaf to what the actual American family really wants and needs.
Well, I'm gonna give y'all a real good one on this one. It's only 6 seconds, but it's 6 seconds you will never get back in your life after watching this.
Oh, is it Nancy Pelosi telling people to shut up?
No,
Oh,
it's
it's
worse.
not.
It's
Oh,
worse.
so that's that
Look at this.
idiot.
Look at this.
I can't.
James with his janky ass internet
Oh,
connection.
God. What does he represent? That
Honestly, I
T-Mobile?
was speechless when I woke up to your voice. Now you told me how you've been feeling.
Another
That's
face
what-
for radio.
That's that purple haired cat lady. That's what's her name again?
Hold on now. We don't pick on purple hair people here. We have
Listen,
Candace
mine
is not
tastefully
purple.
done. Thank
Hers is not
you.
purple. Hers is
This
not
man
purple.
is colorblind as shit.
I mean, I don't understand what you're looking at. Hers is definitely not purple. That
Well,
shit
hold on.
that
It's orange today. Hold on.
It's always been.
It's different every week. That's good though.
Listen.
No, here's
Okay,
the deal.
first of all,
Candace
that
is
woman's
a
got a face for radio.
oh she
Can't even take it.
well she's got a mind for freaking I mean you pick what her mind is for would you trust her? But she's an elected official. What is it from? I forget where she's from. Maryland? No, Maine? No, where's she from?
I don't
Well,
remember.
well,
I'm
I
looking
just
it up.
remember
I
her. She
should've-
was like,
Is it
That's
Rhode
something
Island?
in
It's
my intel
somewhere up
report,
there.
I should have put that.
She was a pain in the ass in like the early years.
Connecticut, or just the same.
Oh.
Connecticut.
Okay, a very small state, and
Mhm.
you know what? Again, if and the Democrat Party, that's considered. She's probably considered midstream now. I mean, seriously, she's considered midstream. At least she knows she's a woman. I mean, let's be fair.
No,
Your
Well,
average
she does.
Democrat doesn't know what their sex is and can't identify their sex.
To quote
So-
a dear friend of mine, she looks like my asshole. You know.
Well, you might want to go get your asshole checked.
I know. What is it? Black and blue? Holy hell!
You might want
This is-
seriously. You might
this
want to
is
get that checked out.
absolutely, it's absolutely terrible. It is. It's
But I
embarrassing.
have to say something. Okay, I'm 38 years old. Okay, I don't look like, your normal conservative person. Okay, I would take one look at that woman, and I have. And she's not getting my vote because I think she looks like an idiot. And I don't look at that person and say, yes, this one encompasses the voices of the American people. I don't see that. And I don't understand why people see that and they elect these lunatics.
Yeah.
Like that person she looks like an idiot. I don't need to know anything else about her.
It's the
That's
same.
enough for me.
It's the same reason why Mondami is going to get elected, is because people in
Yep.
those areas are just dyed in the wool, far left type people,
Yeah.
and they just think it's fantastic. You know what I mean? And it's just, I mean, I was amazed. I live in, rural Ohio. I live 40 miles from Cincinnati. We were driving through Mount Orb yesterday, and there was a No Kings protest with about 25, 30 people standing there. And I'm laughing. I'm just sitting there thinking, yeah, I'm laughing like, where are these people even from? Because everybody out here is pretty, conservative.
Right.
But it's so laughable. It's just like, you're actually spending this beautiful day. And again, I don't care. It's not my business what these people do, but it's just, to me, so laughable that's their cause. Really?
Mhm.
That's their cause. And they want to fight about something. Like, I was looking at a stat earlier. I posted earlier on my Facebook about, all these children that are being recovered through these raids and these operations are going on, these missing children. I could give a shit less about anything else. If they're recovering 30 to 50 people or children every time they do these citywide raids in these large urban areas, that's what I voted for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Keep it up. Obviously I support Donald Trump and what he's doing, but even if I didn't, that's worth it.
Mhm.
So shut up with the No Kings,
Look, it's not about anything other than disruption, throwing shade, because this administration is so successful. That's all they've got, is to start just throwing nonsense out there and having rallies. To me, and Pappas, I definitely want your opinion on this. I think they're just fucking scared. I think they're so scared of the success that is happening, in the response of the people, the everyday people like us, that they don't know anything else to do but lie and throw shade. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And dress up like inflatable douchebags.
I got to be honest with you. I was so annoyed, and we talked about this briefly on the other show, but I've seen for a few days now on my social media feed, and you guys are on social media. James isn't, because he can't get it out there in the sticks. But at the end of the day, I've seen news. I get on the social media, and before the event, I think it was Saturday, right? Yeah. So, I mean, starting on Wednesday. Oh, this weekend, the No
Yep.
Kings rally. Don't forget. Oh my God, what are you going to wear to the No Kings? Here's the
Yep.
weather for the No Kings rally.
Yep.
Here's where all the No Kings rallies are going to be. Know how to get to the No Kings rally. And I'm sitting there saying, well, this suddenly
Why?
doesn't seem
Yep.
like a news organization. This
Mhm.
suddenly seems like some sort of, I don't know, propaganda organization. Look at that cat. And they get that cat out of here. But I
He
mean,
steals the
Childless
show
cat lady.
every single time. He steals the show.
at the end of the day,
Thomas Cat Lady, Tommy.
Mhm.
That's right.
I don't care what they do at these rallies. I don't give two shits. I don't care about them anymore. I think these people, yes, they're trying to create chaos, but at the end of the day, they look foolish. And I think you look at what their goal is. They can't give you a goal. You ask them questions. There's videos and videos
goal.
that they
Yeah.
do you have any rudimentary knowledge of who even your elected official is? They have
No
none.
idea.
They haven't been politically active. They're just agitators. I think many of them are receiving money. I think they're being organized by people that are being paid. And to be frank, you know what? I don't think it's gaining traction with the average American people. I think people are
It's
getting
not.
tired of it. I think
Because
they're
it
getting
doesn't
tired
make
of it.
sense. You're
Right.
screaming in the streets, no kings, because the government is shut down and not giving you your food stamps and your
Tom
government
is
benefits and your
Tom
free
is
health
driving
care.
through Mount Orb, which
What?
if you've never been, you guys never been to Mount Orb. There's 25 people in Mount Orb, Ohio, which is redder than red. Are you
Right.
kidding me? What is their goal there? What were they trying to accomplish? And I mean, I hope there was a lot of guys rolling coal on them in Mount Orb, because I know that a lot of those good old boys ride diesel trucks.
Oh yeah, you can bet that was happening. I wish I'd been in my truck. I'd have rolled some coal on them myself.
But I mean, I guess what I'm saying here, James, is yes, you're right. They're trying to create chaos, throw shade, as you call it. But I don't think that anyone really gives two shits about them. They're a bunch of washed up fucking hippies that got nothing better to do than make themselves feel better than go over there and beat on a drum and say, we no kings, no kings, no kings. And I think the American public is just is tired of it. And I mean, you know, much like you would see, and I posted about this, if you see a petulant child in the store, okay, a child in the store that wants a toy, and you've seen them, I mean, we all have been in a situation, a kid throwing a fit in the store, and you see how the parents respond to that. This is a chance for us to say, you know, be the bigger parent here as a country, as
Right.
as conservatives. If you give them attention, which is what the child wants, right? And you
I agree
say,
with
it's
that.
okay, Johnny, you're going to get your, well, let me give you what you want. Because
They're
they
gonna
want
keep doing it.
attention.
Mhm.
So let me give you the attention, right? Oh, what is your concern? What are you arguing about? What are you fucking marching about? You don't even know shit from Shinola. But I just ignore them. I ignore them. I laugh at them. I think they look foolish. I poke fun at them physically, intellectually. And you know what? I think more and more people are just looking at them. They're shaking their heads and they're going, what in the flying fuck are you doing? It is a college football Saturday afternoon and you're out here having a fucking no kings rally?
Yeah.
Well, and they're
Have
used
at
to
it.
getting results. See, they thought the BLM, you know, they got some traction there. And so
Yeah.
they're just trying to take that energy and putting it into this. But here's the problem. It doesn't fucking make sense. It's a bunch of people who love to be dependent on the government that are saying they're not dependent on the government. They don't want a king. But you love kings. You want the government to do
Your very
everything for
wait,
you.
but their very party was the king, because correct
Exactly.
me if I'm wrong. They appointed. There was no primary. They
100%.
appointed their candidate, much the way kings. They crowned their candidate. They
And when you
anointed their
say that
candidate.
to them, they just call you a racist piece of shit, and that's it.
I did a video on that today, Pappas. I'm on the Democrat side on this. I think that they should have a rally, no kings rally. What happened to them in the fall of 2024 is unexcusable. They had a candidate
But they love it.
that nobody ever voted for. They had a candidate shoved down their throat. If you want to talk about kings and queens, they had Queen Kamala that was shoved down their fucking throat. So don't come at me with this democracy shit and this no king stuff when you just took it and they just shut it down your throat and you liked it. So, but Candace, I got a question for you. You did a video on this week. Can you explain to us, and I know it's hard for us to rationalize or get into a liberal's head, why do liberals think they have to protest naked?
Oh, holy
naked.
hell. Okay, you want to know why? Okay, this goes back to all the fucking problems we have in this world. Because we started.
Why do they got to get naked? They just want to get
Listen,
naked. For what?
it's
And
insane.
they're ugly.
And thank you, because we said everybody's beautiful. They're not. They're not. Not everybody's beautiful. Not everybody should be fucking naked. But we started years ago saying, yes, you do it, girl. You slay. And now these fat-assed, ugly, stretched out Portland people are taking to bicycles and riding around like psychos trying to protest ICE or something. Like I said, I don't know what the protest was. I saw flabby asses on bicycles and I was like, horrified by that. So I don't even know what the message was. And that's how delusional they are too. I
Can you
just want to
imagine the
know
smell? Can you imagine the
who's the
smell?
organizer of this? Can somebody tell me who is that's like, guys, I got it. We are going to get a bunch of bicycles, okay? And we're going to be butt ass naked and we're going to ride around the city streets and this will do it. This will do it. Who the fuck says that to people? I want to know.
I
You
know
need
why.
to be on the show.
It's going to solve all our problems, Pappas, if we all get naked and ride bus.
Get naked, ride a bicycle with your. First of all, I'm sorry. I am maybe an amateur biker person, but I'm all about the coverage. Okay. Could you be on a fucking bicycle naked with the seat up every single bit of your parts? I can't even imagine what that's like for you guys.
Well, you got to remember, Candace, this was out in Portland, right?
Yeah, where they
Yeah.
deregulated drugs.
Most of
That
those
could be a problem.
bicycles didn't have seats.
Ugh. I can tell you why they do it.
Tell
Because nothing else is working. They're not getting attention. And so the only way to get attention is new strategies like let's bike naked. The news will cover that because everyone's ignoring this. I mean, I love it how when I go on and I get these news things through my algorithm on Facebook of these different stories from around the country. And most of the comments have shifted from, basically from last year to this year where in all this anti-Trump stuff, most of the comments these days by the garden variety people that are on there are anti-left.
I agree.
It's hilarious. And this is why I think they're doing these kind of things. And part of it is like in Portland, for example, the reports are that they're having these apartments that they're putting these people up in. They're having these like sex parties and giving them all the food and drink they could want. And I'm sure they're coming up with these different ideas because nothing literally is working. There's no way to get anyone's attention.
Somebody commented, and it was the best comment. It was like, well, that's my reminder to never buy a used bike in Portland.
There you go.
Like, yeah.
I bet
But
you.
I wouldn't take a black light to it.
Oh, God, no. Could you imagine,
know-
I'm sorry, I don't want to see your balls smacking up against a bicycle seat for what? That's what I'm saying. What is the message? And what does one have to do with the other?
It's just shock
Absolutely
value.
nothing.
So when I was in Cincinnati, we went to the zoo. I bet you the smell was better at the fucking zoo than it was at that fucking.
Oh, God, could you
And how
imagine?
much shit did I give you for going to the fucking zoo?
A lot.
Yeah. James is like, I'm going to the zoo. I go, what are you, 10?
Oh, come on. The zoo is
Well,
fun.
Thank God he didn't front me out because I was the one that suggested it.
Oh, were you the one that suggested it?
Yeah.
I said, buddy,
That's
you got
funny.
I said, go to the museum center. You got other shit to do. But he said
See,
he had a
I
good
won't go to
time.
the museum center.
Did you go
I
to the zoo?
redeemed myself. I redeemed myself when Tommy took us to the Buffalo Trace Distillery. Oh,
Well,
by
yeah,
the way,
no,
Tommy,
that was a great idea. Actually, it was.
I'm drinking tonight. I'm drinking the Single Oak Project from Buffalo Trace
Is it
Distillery.
good? I haven't opened mine yet.
No, it's absolutely delicious.
Look at you guys adulting. So
Mm-mm-mm.
good.
Yeah, the monkeys were cute though.
See,
Oh,
good. I'm
Jesus
glad
Christ.
you went. I'm glad you didn't, deter your plan. No
Yeah.
pigs, okay?
I'm not a zoo guy. Let's just say that I'm not a zoo guy.
Well, Pappas,
Voted.
like Beth told you at breakfast when we went, there was only like 10 people there, so it was really nice. The weather was good. There was nobody there, so it was nice. So let's see.
Ever since they shot that gorilla, I'm not going to the zoo. They shot old what's his face? Who's that?
Harambe.
Harambe. That's right. They
Wasn't
shot
that-
Harambe. I'm
Wasn't
off
that
the
like 2
zoo.
decades ago?
That story
Probably.
actually affected me. I was assistant chief out there in Springdale, and the grandmother of that kid that fell in the thing resided in Springdale, and that's where they were hiding out from all the paparazzi and media. And somebody figured out where they were, so we had to go up there and sort all that. And I'm like, how in the world did we get roped in this story? This little suburb,
Fucking, they made the biggest deal out of that. Don't get me wrong, that was a bad deal all the way around. But they shot that gorilla. I said, I'm done with the zoo. I ain't going to the zoo no more. Actually, to be fair, I've been to the zoo, and I told James this, I think one time. I've lived in Cincinnati probably 30 years. I've been to the zoo once. I walked in, I went like this. I go, yeah, it's a zoo. And I turn around and walk right back out. No, not my deal. Not my deal.
The reason I won't go to the museum center anymore is because they snubbed the Cincinnati Police Museum. They had space in there, and they were going to put them in there, and they didn't. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care if that place is a train station. I'm out.
True. I can't disagree with that either.
All right, so let's go through. We're gonna cover U.S. representatives first. So what we did was, if over 80 years old, how many reps we have who are over 80, how long they've been in public office, not just as a U.S. rep, because they all start somewhere. So I want to see how long they've been on the government's tit, how long they have been on the government cheese. So let's go with the best one, and I say that sarcastically. Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi is 85 years old. She's a Democrat. She had been in public office since 1987. All right. Most of the time has been as a U.S. congressman, making under $200,000 a year. Her net worth is $270 million. So I'm gonna go through the list and then we'll discuss it.
You can buy a lot of hammers with $270 million,
Yeah.
can't you,
Yep.
James?
Yeah.
And a lot
Sure
of liquor
can.
too. So Rosa DeLauro, purple hair, the true purple hair, Candace,
Yeah.
82 years
She
old,
can keep
Democrat.
that title.
Yeah. Been in public office since 1991, worth $20 million. Hal Rogers, 87, Republican, been in office since 1981, worth $500,000. Maxine Waters, Maxine Waters, Democrat, been in public office since 1976. Net worth $3.7 million. Virginia Fox, 81, Democrat, been in public office since 1995. Net worth $5.3 million. Steny Hoyer.
I think it's Holder. I think it's a different one. Is that Hoyer or Holder?
Oh no, it's Holder. Steny Holder. 85, Democrat. Been in office since listen to this. Been in public office since 1967. Tommy, were you born in 67?
I was born in 67.
Yeah. Tommy was born in 67. Been in office since 1967. Now, his net worth is less than $100,000. I don't understand that. But
Gambling problem.
Yeah.
Starting the rumor.
Somebody likes women a lot because he's probably.
Yeah, he probably has several.
Oh, man. Got an Anthony Weiner on our hands.
Yeah, Jim Clyburn, 84, Democrat. Been in public office since 1969. Been on the government's tit since 1969. Net worth $287,000.
I'll tell you what, I'm surprised some of these people have such a low net worth. I mean, they're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And I don't know that report for them, I'm sure the other ones are accurate, but I mean, give me a break. I mean, you must be doing something. And if his net worth is that low, like the one fellow was less than $100,000, maybe he's one of the few people that, let's say, the one thing that always bugs me about Democrats, and I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I'm good.
But they always want to be altruistic with your money.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to them, liberals in particular,
Yep.
but when it comes to them, they're like, oh, what do you mean? Whoa. I'm not giving my shit away. I mean, Bernie Sanders is a prime example of that. How many houses does Bernie Sanders own?
Mm-hmm.
And how is Bernie Sanders not on your list?
He is.
Oh, he is?
He is, and he's hiding money because there ain't no way he's only worth $300.
Yeah, we're going to do senators in a minute.
But I mean, my question is, so maybe some of these people, the lower people, that net worth, they might be true believers, and they might say, you know what? It ain't about the money. I'm going to give everything I can make away. And then I don't really have a big, I mean, I'll disagree with them, but at least they're walking the walk. And you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They're not just talking the talk, but keep going. I'm sorry.
So Danny Davis, 83 years old, Democrat, been in office since 1979, worth less than $500,000. John Carter, Republican, been in office since 1981, net worth $3.3 million. Frederica Wilson, 82, Democrat, been in public office since 1992. Net worth $1.3 million. So that's all the U.S. representatives. So I'm going to say this: with the ones worth a couple million, I don't have a huge issue with, because if look how old they are.
Yeah.
If they were, if they had a 401k, if they were investing something, you should at that age. If you were, even if you were making, $200,000, you should have,
1 to 10 million.
Legitimate. You could.
Sure.
That's cute, but 270 million. Come on.
That's ridiculous.
Come on.
No, Candace. I'm talking about. I'm
That
giving a
bitch is
little grace to the people who
insider,
have 1
upside
million.
down, inside
I'm
out.
talking about the people who have 1 million or 2 million or
Sure.
even 3 million, and they've been around. They're that fucking old. They could have invested and done that if they've been disciplined and they invested properly. They could have a couple million legitimately. So I'm giving a little grace there. But come on, 270 fucking million. And the thing about her that irks me, I mean, there's so many things about Nancy, and I'm gonna play her video in a minute that irk me about her, is how indignant she is when she gets questioned. It's like, why the fuck are you even questioning me?
Oh, I know the video you're going to show. I think I know the video you're going to show.
Well, let's go ahead and show it.
Let's go. Let's do it. It's my favorite thing right now. The crypt
This
keeper
just shows
going,
exactly what she is. Yeah.
I'm surprised her teeth didn't fall out.
Well, and again, I'm going to focus on well, let me play it first, and then we'll go to that.
Oh, there she is. In all her green Joker glory.
For that day, why did you refuse the National Guard on January 6th?
Shut up. I did not use the National Guard. The president didn't send it. Why are you coming here with Republican talking points as if you're a serious journalist?
The American people want to know. We still have questions. Thank you.
She must also brush her hair with a balloon.
That chick was so awesome because she ended it and
I
she
like
just
her.
smiled like,
Yeah.
oh, geez, I got you.
She knew, but she knew what the fuck she was doing.
Oh yeah.
Well, you know,
She
the funny
put-
thing
she
is
knew-
that's actually factually correct. She did actually, and even her own, was it her daughter? I can't remember who released the recording in one of her limos. I think it was
the
daughter.
daughter.
Yeah, the daughter said
Yeah.
it was she's the one that refused the National Guard. I mean, the fact that we're still discussing this, the fact that there's not just this is not settled. What happened on January 6th and who actually caused it? I mean, how many FBI agents were in the crowd? We heard none initially. Now, wait, what's the latest now? What's the count up
250,
to?
right? Wasn't it like 250?
Yeah, but initially it was none. There were no FBI, no undercover
Well,
police were in the crowd. None.
Isn't
I
it
mean-
funny that they don't want to talk about it anymore? They used to love it. They used
If
to
we
love
take
that January 6th. Now they don't
Well,
want to say it.
when-
Well, that's
you-
their, I've said this before. That's their dice roll dance. That's all they've
Yeah.
got is January 6th. But so if you take that from them, what else do they have?
When
Nothing.
you say to them,
Naked bicycle riding. That's all they have.
Shit, we need to go back to January 6th.
well,
Oh.
when you sit there and point out to them, you say, "Well, we didn't protest. We didn't protest during Biden." And the first thing that they paired out, they go January 6th, January 6th, and then you say, "Well, wait a second. Biden wasn't in office, number one, and number two." That was everyone, and I said at the time, I was like, that was a protest that got out of hand. That was a demonstration, a rally that got out of hand, but that was not organized. No one said, let's go to DC and rush the Capitol. And given now that we know that she didn't call, factually, she did not pull up the National Guard as was requested, and videos of the doors being opened up. I'm not talking about the doors being smashed, but there was 275. I've been to a lot of rallies. Candace, have you been to a rally? Tom, have you been to a rally?
Years ago, I mean, it was a presidential campaign rally.
I've never seen at a rally when I'm there. I see normal people. I see people with kids. I see people with flags. When I saw the videos and I see these people with black bicycle caps, helmets, dressed in black with elbow guards and knee pads, carrying a backpack full of tools, I said, that is not normal behavior. So who are those people? And now we find out that there was 250, 275, whatever the number ends up being, FBI agents in that crowd. It doesn't take a lot. Tom, you probably know much more about this than I do, but crowd control doesn't take a lot of people to control a crowd and to spur them into action. That crowd, they become an entity unto themselves. They're not an individual. The crowd becomes a living thing. Yes. And it doesn't take a lot of people a few people can control, just like a few cowboys can control a herd, can ride a cattle herd. Yeah. Very similar to a crowd that is being manipulated by a few bad apples.
Well, and Andrew, I couldn't agree with you more. Just real quick on that topic, I can remember watching the videos back when that occurred, and I kept thinking to myself when I was watching them, this quote unquote raid on the Capitol is in slow motion. People, you can see the the people that were the true, people that were like in the crowd, the true civilians, I guess you could say, you could see the trepidation about, ooh, they're breaking windows and they're wandering around inside there. And even the Capitol Police reaction was kind of like, they weren't expecting, that would quote unquote to me be a friendly crowd, a conservative crowd. And so they didn't, I got the impression that they weren't really seeing them as a threat initially. And then, like you said, all of a sudden you get people within the crowd that stir them up and things are going to happen. But I really never felt like, that was a group that went in there together with a mission like Antifa does.
Right.
That was more of it just kind of whipped up. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if there was people in there stirring it. Yes.
And what I think when you look back at some of the videos that were circulated constantly, it always was the same 5 to 10 people that you saw throughout all of the videos. So they're trying to paint it as though it was all of these people storming the Capitol, but yet every single video that you saw, it was the same 5 people, the same 5 people, the same 5 people. And it just, I don't know. To me, it never compared to the Summer of Love at all. Never compared to that. And when you bring that up, they have, I mean, what did that other guy say? You played that, James, when he was like, every weekend in Chicago.
Right.
Like that.
95%. 95% of this Capitol deal was a bunch of old ladies running around because they were invited in.
Right.
That's
Right.
that's
even the males that you could quote unquote say could have been the rabble rousers. Go look at the videos. They're literally walking around the Capitol Dome like, "Hey, look, we're in the Capitol."
Right.
It isn't like they're like pitchforks and knives. Let's go take somebody down.
Right, and they're panning back, and it's like, wave, hi,
Yeah.
this is really cool. Yeah, it was very touristy, and again, it
Touristy,
was the
that's a good word.
5 freaking people that you saw in all of these viral videos, and oh my God, it was so scary.
And
But
when I
yet-
hear the Democrats use the word insurrection, I keep
Oh, it's
pointing
my
out. I
favorite.
was like,
I
well,
can't.
you know,
my
how
husband
many-
gets so mad, and he's like,
if
Thomas
you're-
How many
Jefferson would like
insurrections-
shit on all of these people.
Let me ask you, and I always ask the question of them. I said, well, how many guns were confiscated that day?
Right.
None.
Yeah.
Well, so you had an insurrection, a violent insurrection, and no one brought firearms. That seems odd to me. Does that seem odd to you?
I don't think they had knives. I don't think they had pocket knives.
And then they keep spreading the lie. And listen, Tom, no disrespect. I'm more pro-police than anybody. Okay. But they say, oh my God, 6 police officers were killed that day. And I'm like, what?
That's not. First of all, it's not even true.
at all.
It's not even true. It's not true.
I thought only one person was killed, and they still can't even figure out how
One
that
person-
transpired.
It was a female that was killed by
Yes.
a Capitol police officer.
Right.
That
And-
was
and-
questionable.
Right.
And
And
there was a
unarmed-
police officer
let's
that
be
died
fair.
a couple days later from a heart attack.
Oh
No,
yeah, and they
police
and they always
officer
counted
Brian
his death
Setnick-
too.
Brian Setnick died of a stroke
Yep.
a couple of days later, and his wife came out and said she believed it was because, now, if you remember the reports from CNN, and I've seen them, I don't know if they're still out there, they said CNN was reporting that he was killed because he was struck in the head with a fire extinguisher, and he was killed right there. Not true. That's
No,
just
that's not true.
factually not true.
He was.
No, I agree with you, Andrew. You're right.
And look,
So-
if I'm the wife, I'm fighting for it too. Pappas, do you know how much a line of duty death is worth?
Oh, there's no question in
No,
my
it's
mind
worth about
that
$1
has a
million.
lot to do with
It's
it.
worth
But
about
I
$1
don't want
million.
to disrespect her. I don't want to
No,
disrespect
I'm not
her. She
either.
lost
But
her
I'm just
husband.
saying.
But
Yeah.
but to say that this was a cause and effect,
Right.
and the Democrats then spreading the lie, oh my God, 6 people were killed at January 6th. Factually, and 6 police officers were killed.
Yeah.
Not true. How many guns were confiscated? 0. Who was the only person shot on January 6th? Was a
Ashley
5-foot tall Ashley Babbitt, 5-foot tall Air Force. Not that matters, 5 foot tall, but my point is, not an intimidating person. 5 feet tall, unarmed female was shot by a Capitol Hills police officer who has had a pretty auspicious past, given the fact that at one point, while he was taking a dump or a piss, he left his loaded firearm on the urinal that someone had to say, come back and say, hey, is this your gun? So I don't know about you. I've handled weapons my whole life. Maybe if I'm out in the sticks, I might take a dump and lean my rifle against a tree. But if I go in somewhere, number one, I'm not putting my gun on a urinal and then leaving with my weapon just sitting there. I mean, and I'm not even a trained police officer. So my point is, the narratives that the Democrats have been allowed to perpetuate, aided and abetted by willing and complicit media, have caused this misinformation to fester. And I wish we would get a fine. Republicans are in charge now. Well, they're not in office because no one, we're shut down. But Final report. This is what happened on January 6th. We were supposed to be subpoenaing the former members of the January 6th commission. Where has that gone? It hasn't gone anywhere. Let shitter get off the pot, folks.
Because
Well,
let's be
what-
real with each other. They could release all the information they would want, just like Epstein. What would happen? Oh, he just burned the file or paid these people off. It wouldn't make a difference. You have people that believe that this was a pre-planned horrible thing, and I'm gonna be honest and a little callous. Let's say 6 police officers died, and so did the other woman. Let's say it was a total of 7. It still doesn't compare to one weekend in Chicago,
Oh no,
one
that's
weekend
true.
in
That's
Detroit.
true. That's
And
true.
the fact that they stomp around saying that this is the most horrific thing they've ever witnessed is just an out and out lie. And Nancy Pelosi, she can plainly and simply go fuck herself. Plainly and simply, with her $270 million,
With
she
a
has
hammer.
done
Yeah.
nothing. Let's actually think about what these people have done in the decades that they have been in office.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
That I
going
would
to
love to know.
before we move on to the senators and their the old ass senators and their net worth, I'm gonna speak to the Democrats. You have no, as a retired police officer, career police officer, you have no fucking right to ever say, what about the police officers, the police officers' lives you put in danger January 6th? Fuck you. You don't give a fuck about cops. You hate cops. So you have no right to use police officers, hardworking police officers, as your fucking prop. And that's all they are to you, is a fucking prop. You want to defund them. You want to shit on them every fucking chance you get. You want to put their lives in. Look what the way y'all are treating ICE right now. And you're going to talk about the Capitol police officers. So go fuck yourself.
Ooh,
All right,
that's some
Here,
passion.
here.
That's some
I'm
passion.
pissed. That pisses me off more than
Bourbon
anything.
is kicking
They
in there,
have no right.
James.
You know what? They have no right. Democrats have no right to fucking use that as a prop. And I'm tired of them using police officers as props.
Blue inner cities, perfect example. They leave their police officers to feast or famine. Every single Democratic leader of every single blue inner city, they do not care about the rampant crime rates that their cities incur each and every day, while they get on their little cameras and say, January 6th was so horrible. Every weekend in every single one of their shitly ran inner cities is deadly, and they don't seem to really care about that. Their police officers are dying on the daily.
Daily, and then they only use it. They only use it when they need it. And James, I love your passion because this strikes close to home, and nobody likes to be used as a prop, and especially when as soon as the cameras are off, they shit all over you.
Yeah.
Well, Obama's the one that started that.
Yes.
He was the architect of breaking down law and order in this country. And Jim and I have talked about this on the show in the past. I am a firm believer that the reason that this occurs is because most left-wing ideals are based on anti-authority. People who are conservatives are people we all in our lifetime, especially when we were younger, we did things when we were teenagers to try to get away with this and that, to rebel and do all those different things. And then those of us who grew up became conservatives, and those of us who grew up thinking there should be, I can do whatever I want and there's no rules and everything. Those are the people that become liberals. And it's very unfortunate that the conservatives, have to babysit the liberals for their.
And see their naked asses on bicycles.
That's right. Pappas, give us some, I know you got to go. Give us some closing thoughts, and then we're going to,
kick it around.
Tom and Candace and I will cover the Senate.
I appreciate that. Here's the deal. I'm wondering every day, and I'm wondering every day and what made me wonder was these protests 2.0. Where does this go from here? As I said before, we are supposed to be a country, e pluribus unum, and forgive my Latin, but that's out of many one. And we are not that same. We don't have that same mentality anymore. There is no unity. So I'm wondering, and Tom, you might agree. This is your police. I mean, is mayhem the end goal? And I know that James agrees, or he calls it shade. But
Yeah.
if mayhem is the goal, then this doesn't end well for this country, because what's going to happen is at some point there's going to be violence, which has occurred. The one thing that you didn't see this weekend with the rallies and which were vastly overstated by the news media. But
Right.
you know what you didn't see? You didn't see those people in fear of being shot, did you?
Mhm.
You didn't see those people. You didn't see any conservatives shoot somebody in the neck because those people were expressing their free rights to speech, did you?
Not at all.
You didn't. So where does this end? And at some point, I don't know that it ends well. It feels to me like the country is really aided and abetted by a leftist, few leftist, mega wealthy people. I'm thinking of George Soros.
Sure.
That they're funding this
Prison.
and using these useful idiots to further fracture and divide this country. And I think that I am fearful that what will happen is you will have, I don't fear a king, and I don't fear, this no kings bullshit. I don't fear that. But I do fear the fact that we will no longer be a more perfect union. We're going to become two separate unions, maybe, or three separate unions. Who the hell knows? Maybe I'm being melodramatic. I don't know. I just see it ending.
I don't think you
poorly.
are.
Well, Andrew, here's what I would say in response to that. I think that your concerns are well placed, but what I'm really encouraged by is the fact that President Trump has such guts to do what needs to be done, and is doing things that have an unbelievable success rate. I think that is what's convincing the American people right now, is that whether it's through foreign policy or whether it's through this deployment of the National Guard in the cities, which I don't, as a police officer, I'm not affronted by that at all. I think I would welcome that help, And I think that as the shade is lifted off of the liberal bullshit that's out there, and that people are actually seeing, hey, this is what he's trying to do. We're going to have law and order, and we're going to have, secure borders, and we're going to have peace around the world, that people are going to be like, you know what, this is the right path. And so hopefully that'll start taking the steam away from all the left wing, useful idiots being pawned to do all the things that they do. And the other area I think that has to be, and I just heard a story about this today, is that the president is working with colleges to try to stamp out all this indoctrination business that's going on. I'm a person, I always consider myself liberal heart, conservative mind. I know that we have to have some liberal ideas. I don't feel that everything should be conservatives and liberals should have no voice. There should be a balance. And I don't, there are things I'm sure I believe that would be maybe leaning more toward the liberal side, but you can't have it to where it is, you think the way I think or you're wrong. And that's, I think, the crux of what you're talking about. That doesn't end well. If we can't find a way in this country to stop saying, if you don't think the way I do, you're a shit, then there's going to be problems.
If you don't,
I'm very hopeful that
if you don't think the way I do, you're a Nazi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
what I
okay
mean.
to kill Nazis. That's my
and
problem.
see, that's the problem. Exactly right. That's why Charlie Kirk was murdered, is because you only need to hear that so many times if you're crazy to think, I need to stamp that out. Who wouldn't kill a Nazi? And even, like, for example, I watched Bill Maher, who is a very left-wing person, but at least he's got common sense. He's like Fetterman. He speaks the truth.
Right.
And I loved recently, he was talking about the fact that he encouraged people, if your family member is calling you a name like that because you're a conservative, say, what would you want of me then? Would you want me to be killed because of that? And I thought, man, that's pretty gutsy on him to say that. Because you're right. You can't have a society where people refuse to accept a different point of view and perspective. That will not succeed. You're right.
Pappas, I know you got a roll. Appreciate you coming tonight.
Yeah, I've got some family shit to attend to. Love being here. You guys will chew the fat here while I'm gone, and I know you'll solve a lot more problems than me being here. But I appreciate the opportunity.
Great to share the time with you, Pappas.
Bye. See you soon.
Pappas. All right, before we move on, so Bosco's in our chat. Say, Bosco, send me a Facebook message. I know I have your phone number. Jason sent it to me, but I want to get you as a guest on the show. Send me a Facebook message. Which phone number again? It's somewhere in Jason and I's chat, and we text a lot, so it's probably something. Just send it to me, and we'll get you on the show soon. I'd love to have your perspective on some things. So let's move to the Senate and talk about some of these old ass motherfuckers in the Senate. So before I bring up the oldest person in the Senate, I will say this about Chuck Grassley. Chuck Grassley is 92 years old, but he may very well be the exception that Pappas was talking about. He's sharp, but he should not still be in the Senate. Chuck Grassley has been in public office since 1959. Come on, man. Now,
Pack
his
it
net
in.
worth, his net worth is 6.2 million, which can be reasonable, if you've invested in all that, but here's the favorite one, Bernie Sanders.
Bernie.
Been in office. He's 83 years old. He's been in public office since 1981. Now, his net worth, I think it's low. I think it's more than this, 3 million. But one thing that I found when I was researching it, in this, you want to talk about how they get there, how the corruption, the legal corruption that goes on. You know where most of his money came from? Royalties from a book that he wrote.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think anybody gives a fuck about what
Bernie Sanders writes?
Bernie Sanders fucking writes? No. Some fucking special interest went and bought $3 million worth of his fucking books, so it's legal. There's a lot of legal corruption that goes on that we don't. It's that the system is so fucked. That's why we need term limits. That's why we need age limits.
What we need.
Because you can't. I used to say, and I was wrong. I used to say we don't need term limits because the people's vote is a term limit. If they don't like the person, then they get them out. Well, first thing is
too many people vote down party lines without any
party
sort
lines,
of
and they don't educate themselves.
whatsoever.
Too many people's, Candace. Too many people's, and we're sitting here debating, talking, and all this, and having a conversation because this is what we're into. Well, most people, their big debate was Michael Jordan or LeBron James the best basketball player of all times. They're not giving a fuck about this stuff. So that's when I talk about uneducated voter, I'm not criticizing people saying they're stupid. I'm not saying I'm not saying they're not dumb. They're dumb about this. They don't educate themselves on the issues. They're educating themselves on other stuff that's not important to our world. So that's where, Tom, we have to have term limits. And this is, if the money and the power, and I've been involved in politics, I see how people get power, how people push people, they just control so much. And we could just do a whole show on how this whole corrupt system works. But how you fix it? Term limits. Yeah. And I'm a firm believer in 12-year term limits. 3 terms, 12 years. That's the longest somebody should be in public office. But what people do is, we have a perfect example locally. We have a state rep that's about to term out. Now he's running for mayor. So it's like, there's always ways around it. But people start seeing that you're always just looking for your next office when that happens. So Bosco says, how do we demand term limits? Dude, I don't know. I don't know. You know why? Because the people that it would affect, we're not going to get term limits because it's going to have to come from the people who don't want them, the politicians who are benefiting from it. Right. So, that's a very good question, Bosco. Yeah. So let's go with
but there's a whole, I'm sorry though, too. There's a whole money laundering system when it comes to the younger politicians as well. I mean, Jasmine Crockett, what is she worth? $10 million? AOC, same thing. How? Yeah. How? They're young. We're gonna do a show on that.
We're doing a show tonight on the old people but it's no different than the young. The young ones, to me, it's almost worse. They're not even 40 years old, and they've been in public office 10, 12 years, and they have $10 million. So you've been making So I'm kind of giving a little grace to the ones who are 90 years old, who's been in public office for 50 years. If they invested right and they were disciplined, they could have a couple million. But how the fuck does Jasmine Crockett at 40 years old and been in public office? She was a public defender. Then she was a congressman, or she is a congressman. not long because she's gone now because of the redistricting. She's fucking gone. How does she have $10 million? We're going to do another show on that for sure.
There's money laundering, there's a donor, there's all this shit that runs so deep, and it's almost a little ridiculous that the general public does not understand that this is what's happening. They don't question, they just go along with the masses, they go along with the information. Oh, totally fine. And it's a problem. There's a reason why these politicians have this money, and it's not an ethical reason.
That's right. So Mitch McConnell, 83 years old, Republican, been in public office since 1978. Net worth, $52 million. James Rice, never even heard of him. Republican, been in public office since 1974. Net worth, $56 million. Agnes King. So for y'all that don't know, Agnes King is a man.
Mm-hmm. I know him.
I don't know him. So Agnes King, what man's name is Agnes, first off? Agnes King, 81 years old, independent. He was a Democrat for years. He's independent now. I think he's in Maine. Been in public office since 1995. Net worth $21.8 million. Dick Durbin, who is a piece of shit, 80 years old, been in public office since 1983. Net worth $3 million.
Okay, here's my question. Now, with both of these lists, okay, and you went for those that are above the age of 80. So this is very important for everybody to know that. So James did a search of those that are above the age of 80, and it appears to be that the predominance party that holds that title are the Democrats.
Oh yeah, no, it's predominant. It's 80%. No, it's 100.
So
it's 80%.
How does that? And it's exactly, it's such a stark difference. And my question is, why? Looks shady as fuck, if you ask me. That we're all of a sudden the Democrats are standing behind very old politicians that represent them. You don't see that a whole lot in the Republican Party. Not to, say one is better than the other, but this is why conservatives, libertarians, Republicans in general are saying there are problems here, because it is very much a swing to one side when it comes to leniency.
Yep. Tommy, give us some closing thoughts.
Well, I'd like to see term limits. I agree with you, and I think also that what Candace mentioned earlier about the fact that these things like whether it's Epstein or some of these other things, the January 6th. I'd like to see Republican leadership be much more like the president and step up and show these things, bring these things to light, so that people can see it before the next election cycle comes in 26. Is it 26? Yeah, I think that's critically important to keep the momentum going. And the last thing I was going to say is I also want to dedicate a little time. Trooper Nicholas Caton of the Ohio State Highway Patrol was killed in the line of duty 2 days ago. And just wanted to mention his name and say that we're all here in Ohio thinking about his family and his fellow troopers there.
Well, our thoughts of prayer are with his family and his department. And you and I both know what a family, not only a family, but an entire profession and individual department goes through during this time. So that's our prayers are with them. Candace, give us some closing thoughts.
I want to go back to kind of what Pappas was saying about, where do we come from here? I'm reading Amy Coney Barrett's book, Listening to the Law, and in there she's describing what it actually is like, and how, yes, you have fundamentally different views than perhaps your other justices, but at the end of the day, they are able to separate it and become friends. And she mentions a lot about how Justice Scalia was really good friends with Ginsburg, and you would never think that because they were so fundamentally different, but they were able to put that stuff aside and really have a good friendship. And so does it make me feel a little better to read those things and say, okay, maybe there's hope for us? Sure. I think where we get through some of these challenges that we have as a country is people need to read more. They need to understand American history more. And if they are apt to learning, and if they want to learn, they can see arguments from both sides. If they're not, if they're willing to just accept the indoctrination nonsense that they're given without questioning, just following the leader as per se, then yes,
Mhm.
we're going to continue to have challenges. So I think people are at a crossroads, and it's you can choose to learn the foundation of what our nation really meant, what our founding fathers really wanted for us, or you could choose to go along with what Carl says, who's 25 years old and is a professor at some bullshit university. We are at a crossroads, and
We are.
politicians are at a crossroads because the American people aren't, that we're questioning a lot more than we used to. And maybe some of those older politicians, maybe they should be a little worried. Maybe that's not going to be as easy for reelection if that's their plan anymore. We are just fundamentally at a crossroads, and it can go either way, and we have to figure that out. And people have to take that their own individual accountability for that and be accountable for their own knowledge and the way that they want to perceive the rest of the country.
Yep.
I agree. And look, I'm gonna close. That's a really good points, both of y'all. I'm gonna close with what I was talking about a little bit earlier. And I'm not criticizing everybody. Everybody has their own thing they like to, just because our passion is this, it doesn't have to be everybody's. But uneducated voters are the problem in this country. And most people don't. The things that we just brought to light tonight, I'm sure alarmed people that hear this. What are you gonna do about it? I don't care. I watch sports for entertainment. I don't give a fuck who was the best basketball player of all time. I don't care if Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson, who would beat who in whose prime. I don't care about that. And I love watching boxing. But that doesn't affect my life.
Right.
This affects my life. So that's why I'm so passionate about it, because it affects my life. It affects the great grandkids that I will never meet. It's affecting their life. Therefore, I'm going to be passionate. I'm going to educate myself on that. So that's where I challenge people to educate yourself. I'm not being critical. I don't think I'm better than you. I'm not real bright. I'm not a smart guy, but I educate myself and I read a lot. Candace, you're right. I read books. Most people don't. I don't brag about this. I read 3-4 books a month. And so that's where I think we should always be educating ourselves. Just be an educated voter, man. Just be an educated human. And when you do that, you're going to make decisions that affect our life. So thanks for both of you. Pappas, thanks. If you're listening, thank you for coming. You're awesome. We love having you. Feel like we've got such a great team right now. It's awesome, and I love having y'all on here. And Candace, I can't wait till you get your own show. I know you're working on that.
Working on it.
So tell us a little bit about that. Are you serious about it? You doing it?
I definitely am serious. I'm hoping it will start coming out the week of Halloween. I already have my first episode.
Wow.
I already know everything. I'm just hoping I'm not technically an idiot. So we'll see. Because I might know some history, but I don't know how to do streaming shit. So we'll figure that out, though. It'll be
I will
fine.
tell you this. I'm the best example. I've told you this before. I didn't know how to turn my computer on when I started this. When I retired, the last 20 years of my career, I had a secretary, and she was great. She did everything for me. You definitely are more equipped technically than I am. And I think you definitely should have your own show, and I hope you have me.
Yes, absolutely.
Sometimes, and I know Tom would love that too. And I think you're going to do awesome. I think the network that we have with Jason, with his show, and Bosco, he's got a show. We're going to try to get him on this one, and I think we're building a good network, and I think it's going to help all of us. So I'm proud of you for doing that, and I think you're going to do really well with your show.
Thank you. I really appreciate you, of course. Like I never considered doing anything like this until, it was just a simple reach out, hey, come on my show. And look at us, we're doing so good. So I kind of owe it all to you. And of course, we're always gonna maintain this trajectory. A podcast is
I'm not gonna let you leave me because you're getting your own show now.
No, there's no way. I need this. Like, I need all the minds in the room. So, thank you for everything so far. And, we're going to continue to do great things.
Well, I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Until next time, McGee, Wells, and Candace are out.
Bye, everyone.
Night, everybody.